Hello and welcome to the Unfit Crew Chapter 6, Part 2, 6.5, 7 new version, whatever you want to call it. Point is why in this one specifically, in this week, or should I say like the video before this was only Chapter 6, not Part A and Part B, is because of the fact that, how should I say this, we have had a problem. A very big problem. I think I already posted about it on Twitter multiple times. And that is, how should I say this?
Technology hates us.
Yes, and my computer died on me. And unfortunately, the files that we needed for the Unfit Crew stuff got corrupted. So Chapter 6 Part B and all Chapter 7, which was amazing, got corrupted, which makes me so sad, because I just was so much like this close away from just actually uploading it on YouTube and editing it, and it just got lost, which is unfortunate. But
yes,
what can you do? So, point is, we're going to unfortunately even though we don't want to replace stuff. There is one particular section which is like the demon goddess thing, which we hinted up in the last chapter, that, or should I say the last part A of 6th chapter, the old version. I'm still not really sure how should I call this. Point is, we essentially hinted about her. We're going to have a conversation with her again, because she's just way too much important to just glance over. So, just to let you a heads up, we technically played this already, but I kind of recreated it again so it will feel like a new experience. So for anybody who's just worried that the players will not be into it, don't worry, that'll be fine. The point is just, unfortunately it got lost, but I created a whole new experience for the entire session, as well as a whole new timeline and everything, so things will get fixed and just be in a different way. And that's also a tip for me, for anybody as being a DM, just create multiple timeline options and plot lines, so it can help you later. So now, let's jump right into it, and things that happened last chapter, I guess, is just you got to talk with Roy and then explain to him about the angel stuff, or whatever that is, that he said. The things that you find in the cave, you and Gorgnak and Bobby found in the cave. And you just explained about this for Roy, and you showed to him, and he told you that he's going to take you to his adoptive demon mother, which is the demon goddess, just because of the fact that she might have more information, and you just decide to go meet her. And I think that was pretty much the main plot of the previous part. And that's pretty much what we did there. And last thing is that if you haven't followed up any of these content creators, just go follow them up. They're also really great. And I think we'll jump right into the session. Sorry, it sounds like we're kind of in a bad mood or something at the start, but it just still kind of bums me out. We lost that, because that were so good, so much good. There were the best sessions in my opinion by far. Chapter 7 was the best peak for the entire series by far, and not because of the previous ones were bad, it's just because these just was so good. But enough being a negative Nancy. Unfortunately, enough being a negative Nancy. Let's jump right into the fray, or should I say right now into the session. So I guess last one we left off, or at least for you guys, what they did specifically is essentially sit before the demon goddess, Evers. If there is any background noises, I would appreciate they were not being around right now, because I'm just hearing things over and over. Sorry that I'm saying that. I'm just hearing things and it's taking me out of my concentration. Anyway, point is, you met Evers, the demon goddess with the red hair and the blue eyes, and essentially, she just offered you tea. And now, you're just sitting in front of her. She offering you tea and she asking you what flavor you wanted.
Once again, I have never tried tea in my life.
Yeah, that was the same thing from last time.
No matter how many realities I'm in, I have never consumed tea.
Don't you start metagaming this again.
This will be all metagaming.
Anyway, any one of you want tea or something like that? Because she's offering you something to drink.
How about some milk?
Oh, you're a growing dragonborn boy, I see. You need milk to get strong.
Is there any milk I could drink?
Oh, jeez. Do you want some diapers to this milk?
No, something just came out of my mind and I kind of like, oh my god, this is so perverted, that is so stupid. I'm sorry.
I know what you're thinking.
I know.
No.
I think I know what you're thinking also.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know why I even thought about this. It's like, oh my god, that's so dumb. My mind is so dumb right now.
To mention Bobby scoffs at you still. That's even too far for his line of humor.
No, he just come out of the computer, just slaps me in my cheeks and just going back. Bad DM. Bad DM.
We all look at the camera and we yell at you.
Yes. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with me. I guess it's because I'm
all right. We're sending you to horny jail.
Yes, probably. Anyway, sure. She's giving you what? No, seriously now. What kind of milk you want? She can offer you cow milk, camel milk, whatever milk you want to. Animal like.
Is there goat milk?
Do you want some diapers with that milk?
No.
So she's just creating goat milk with a taste of a little bit of like a little bit of cocoa in it for you.
Do you have ale?
I don't like to drink, and I would prefer if people don't drink in my domain.
Jesus Christ, you alcoholic! Come on, can't you consume something normal?
After all, we need to be sober for these kinds of conversations, she says, as she's taking a little bit of a sip out of her own cup. I forgot the word for a second.
What is this sober you speak of?
She kind of like kind of like putting her face on her, like she put two fingers on her eyes, and she was like, "I am not ready for this." And what would you like?
Okay. If anybody wants you, do you have pear tea?
Pear tea? What's a pear tea?
Pear tea.
What's that? Seriously?
Tea.
Oh.
Tea. That is pear flavored.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the pear. I heard pear tea, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh, you mean pear tea? Okay, sure. Pear is like the fruit, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, she's like kind of like, okay, I get you now, and she just created you a pear tea, and now she's looking at you, Bobby, and just like ask you, okay, so what would you like to drink?
Just a good old cold glass of water. I'm a very normal person. Very basic in that respect.
Very well then, she says, as your cup is filled up out of water. And also, compared to the two others, just changed to be fitting for a cup of water. It's not going to be a cup anymore that looks like a teacup, it just looks like a cup of water, almost like a plastic one. But this one is made out of, I forgot the name. What's the thing that you make out old things out of? I forgot the name of that. Doesn't matter. Old cup of water. Old water container. God, I'm so dumb. Actually, screw it. Should be glass. I don't care. I just don't want to think about the words. Anyway, so what bring you to my place? May I ask you? I kind of know already, but I want to hear it from you.
Stuff and things.
The plot told us to.
That doesn't help at all.
Sorry, that's my type of humor.
Oh, and
We had to
this.
inform you on things.
What?
And Grognak takes out the holified water and the dust. So yeah, that's the thing that we came here for. We think that you might have some more insight on this. Also, wonderful hair.
Thanks. She looks at you kind of like suspiciously in kind of humor that you're trying to steal her hair or something for yourself. And she kind of like when she plays with it, you do see her like her two small horns on her hair, on her head. Sorry. You do see two they're not like upwards. They're like curling, like kind of like a little bit of a crown of sort. Like they're to the side, kind of like going inside, kind of horns. Not like apparent like straightforward up. That's her horns. She also have wings. It looks like it, but they're looking like they're part of her like not part of her dress in terms of like being like her clothes, but look like she kind of like masked them as part of her dress, so they look like part of what she's wearing. Like that's the shoulders on her dress, like the shoulder things, like the puffed shoulders. That's what she has, but wings kind of like curl into that position. It's a weird thing, but that's what she does with her wings. And she kind of like stands up and kind of like starts walking from the table into the small hut in the side.
I just hope I didn't make her mad.
Jeez, Grognak. Only Bobby from the first reality would have done something crazy like that.
Speaking of forced realities, and stop breaking the fourth wall if you wouldn't mind, and she says, looking at you and then looking at the camera, just joking, but then she's like, speaking of realities, and apparently you have a little bit of knowing in them, I want to show you something. I should probably start ignoring your weird comments about these.
Yeah, most people do. But the people behind the screen like it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hopefully you do. Comment in the comment section if you like my jokes.
And then they will comment about that, how it's in real life ties. You're going to comment about real life. Whatever. I don't know where I was going with. She's just gesturing all of you to just come with her. Are you following her or not?
Okay, I'm going.
Yes, I'll go. They may finally understand what my shenanigans is all about with my fourth wall breaking.
Also, Roy is with you. Roy and Estelia are with you, but they're not like talking that much, or they're like kind of like they're not in the background, but they're like will be less active only if there need to move things around. Let's just say that, because I'm going to focus only on one character because she's the more important one. Just to let you know, they're still there. Anyway. She takes you into the hut, and this particular little house is not really a house, traditional house. It's more of like, I wouldn't say a garage because it's not really a garage, but it's kind of like, how should I say this? It doesn't really have traditional house things. What it has, however, is few things in the middle. You have kind of like few bookshelves around, You have some kind of like it looks like a little bit of a witch lair, kind of in few places. Like you have a lot of books, a lot of different kind of tables with different kind of contents on them. Doesn't mean they're like disgusting and like smelly, but like you have it's kind of like a weird lab of sort, like organized lab of sort. And you also have like the cauldron, but the more important thing, that the thing that stands up in the middle of the room, is kind of like look like a stand with a book on it that looks like it's locked from all places, and the book on it just like have a few text in it that you can just like probably go to. But the book is locked. You have a lot of like other books and shelves and stuff like that. You have the cauldron on one side of the room and all the cooked ingredients and ingredients in general, but mostly it just looks like a normal witch lair for the most part.
Okay, now what?
Now what? She says. Now what indeed? She kind of like walks into the room, and she kind of like taking some of the ingredients off the table. She put the things that you gave her on like a very like noticeable spot, and she just like start working on a few things on the table. So, you said something about different realities, right?
Yes, I did break the fourth wall.
Good, because that's going to be pretty useful for me, I guess. Point is, not in all realities things are feeling the same or looks the same. You could say that depending on different circumstances, how should I say this? Few things will happen. Depending on how you approach things, you can also get some few particular things and can lead into some particular solutions / problems, or to your inevitable demise or triumph. Point is, choices do matter, and they kind of create kind of a butterfly effect. Your actions do matter, and it doesn't really matter if you think they don't. Because, let's be honest, first impression is very important. And establishing bonds is really important. And everything you can do can end up just being either good for one person and bad to the other, which then can result in chains of events that can lead into few particular things. Well, just like in this particular way that you approached in a different timeline, she says, as she kind of like finished working on what it called, like look on the ingredients. She throws them into the cauldron, and then she kind of like snaps her fingers, and kind of I wouldn't say like a dream thing, but like the entire room turns into like a vision of sort. And what do you see in it? You see you all approaching her, but in this particular scenario, Bobby is a lot more interested in her. Gorgnak is kind of like acting the same, and K-Bolt is a little bit less interested. After that, in the same a little bit of exchange of information, which you don't really hear, you just see it in really fast. You essentially go out to kind of like do your things, prepare for our next mission. And what you do in that mission is something that you have been wanted to do to just help the town around, and you helping Hystelia to kind of like discover a little bit of a convoy, or should I say like protecting kind of like a convoy run, or should I say a supply run of convoys, because of the fact that some weird cult has been attacking it. You don't really get the full details of these because this is really blurry, but the point is you're trying to save the town from the cult who's going to attack it after you essentially stop them from taking the convoy. They're saying that they're going to attack the little town or the little village that you're trying, like that essentially in the end of the supply run, and Bobby and Gorgnak argue about the value of saving the people, rather also protecting their home and also standing for what's right and not losing, like trying not to lose your home and essentially everything you built, or just trying to save the people. These are the two subjects that are here. It's either like submit to terrorism in a way by trying to evacuate, or essentially just trying to save as much life as possible. And you decide to essentially save as much life as possible in that situation. You're able to save the people, but unfortunately, that doesn't save you at the long run, because even though you thought you were going to save them, you will end up being killed. All of you. And every single one of you, because even after you try to escape from the mines, as you're trying to escape from them, unfortunately, a bigger ambush has been waiting for you and for the convoy who is trying to save you, and you all die of sword. And she kind of like stopped showing it to you, and she's just saying, so basically this was one possibility of chains of events that could happen. Is there any questions?
Grognak clenches his thief. He clenches his fist. Damn it. Not again.
Oh, do not worry. I am keen with a little bit of foresight. That's why this particular scenario is not going to happen here. Now, of course, I'm not 100% sure if, there's only one reality and these are just particular options. If we will not choose the right one, we are going to be doomed into that situation, or not. It's kind of a little bit more complicated. But at least we were able to stop that kind of a future by predicting it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, this is probably the better reality to be in. I'm way less horny over a succubus girl, and we don't die, There's a lot of upsides to this one.
Yeah, that's
Bobby, I blame you.
She kind of like looks at Bobby and is like, that is the only anomaly for me. I don't know why specifically this particular scenario didn't really happen again. But it's fine either way. That didn't really contribute that much into the equation. Point is, case in point, some few things that you did essentially alerted some people. Or some things. I'm not really 100% sure about all of the details because my vision is still limited. And I don't really know why people like to call me goddess for some reason. But the point is, I was able to predict that this is going to happen and essentially instruct my lovely son, she said, kind of like winking at Roy and just like saying, and essentially give him all the details he needs to prevent the so-called supply problem from happening, as well as also giving you the ability to save your own lives, pretty much.
Yeah, hopefully this is not like Infinity War where, the one possible solution where we live, is like 1% out of, so many million.
Right.
That's much appreciated.
Anyway, that's the bigger picture of things. Do you understand that? Yes.
Bobby, I think you're talking about 14,605,000, right?
Huh. So it also gets some weird relays from the omnipotent world in which we cannot understand.
This is what I have to put up with. This is what I have to put up with. she says.
There's no other way.
No, it's the game master has to deal with it.
Stop
Who?
breaking the fourth wall, please. There is a limit for the breaking of fourth wall, please, because that is like really doesn't make any sense.
Am I at my quota for today? Okay.
Anyway, the point
So
is,
I will break the fourth wall. The only good future is the one when everybody dies.
yes,
Or at least Bobby.
specifically. She kind of like looks at you all and is like saying, so yeah, this is a possible outcome. You need to understand that not everything is going to be good all the time. You had a lot of success with your following adventures up to now, and these kind of things could happen. You could die at any moment. I'm pretty sure it was already made for you very clear. But at least this one got essentially stopped. Now, you need to understand one thing. My powers of predictions are not definite. I don't know everything. I can only predict so far. But this one particular crisis got averted. So I'm hoping it will be okay with you on that one. Now, to the subject at hand, she says, as she taking the bottles that you created. And she kind of like takes the two of them. She first off looks at the dust, and she kind of like takes a little bit of it in her hands and just pull it into the cauldron as well. And she kind of like looks at it. So what exactly is this, just to preference?
That's dust that we got from a bear that was infected with the white madness.
The divine thing. The divine crazy stuff. I never thought that divine could lead to craziness, but then again, there are fanatics, so that makes sense.
And that wasn't a bear.
Well, we'll let this cook on for a while, and now we'll check out this bottle, she says, as she kind of like putting one kind of like one drop on her finger to see what it is, and it's burned her hands. Not her hands. She kind of like immediately like it started burning her finger, and she's kind of like getting away from it as soon as possible.
So yeah, that is technically holy water.
Yes, if it was way too much stronger of holy water, she says that she kind of like, taking care of her finger, that would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, so we found that in a cave made by an orc from a lake in a cave.
And you're probably asking me if I know it's a little bit going to be holy water, why do I put it on my finger? Well, it's just because I know I can handle it. I want to see how strong it is. And it's not that strong.
Yeah. Okay. That was my next question. Also, why do you think an orc actually made holy water in a cave and in a lake? Or a pond?
She kind of like taking a little bit of a second to think. An orc, you say. And if I remember correctly, and I'm sharing memories with my son, wink wink, she says again, he also mentioned me for some reason.
Yeah. I wasn't there to witness that. I was kind of unconscious.
Yeah, I know. I met your friend earlier, and he told me about that as well.
Yeah, he kind of been there. He defeated that orc and got a book.
Well, I can only assume two things. First one is it's someone that knows me specifically from my past, which wasn't good back in the day, or somebody that specifically want to take me down because I'm possessing a threat, or just specifically I got really well known. Well, that's technically 3 options, but whatever. Point is, I don't really think it's the third one. I kind of suspect it's mostly the second one. But I'm not sure to what extent. There's definitely a angelic thing connected here, to some extent, but I'm not really sure what are we dealing with here. I would say this though. I don't think it's going to be a full-scale invasion from what it looks like. The question is, what kind of angels we're dealing with? Because depending on what kind of angel, we'll know how to prepare, and depending on what kind of angel, we can know also if that's going to be escalating quickly. So,
is there a way to pinpoint their location?
What was the color of the armor, and how it was looking like?
Which armor?
The armor of the person that you essentially found there.
Oh.
Roll a wisdom check. Both of you. That doesn't mean you, K-Bolt, because you, K-Bolt, weren't there, but the 2 others roll. So that's a 6. That's a 14. So Gorgnak just stayed in that mind of like, but Bobby...
It was metallic.
Yes, but Bobby, you remember it a little bit more. It was kind of a shade of like gold, but not exactly gold. It was more like dark gold, kind of like going into even more of copper. Kind of like it's kind of like stand between. It was definitely like, kind of like a high quality metal, but it wasn't like bright gold. It was kind of like in the middle of spectrum between copper and gold. Kind of like in the middle spectrum between those two.
Yes, I remember Grognak. It was this kind of like goldish thing. It just didn't have the luster of it as usual. It was a little bit darker as well. Don't even know exactly what to call it by, but it's my best description.
Darker gold.
Neat.
Gold. Well, it's not that kind of angel. It's not the dangerous ones. Those of the High Council of Angels, so that's at least a relief. Now the question is, I think we're dealing with the worst kind of angels. Well, worst kind, I mean the ones that less the Council to intervene with us, and that is the corrupted angels. So we might be dealing with those, I feel. And if
is there a way to pinpoint their location?
No, and they're not that kind of angels that you probably think of. When you think about an angel, what do you think about in stories? What do you think of you when you think about angels?
Warriors.
Yes, but
Holy
how do
warriors.
they look like for you?
Half-naked men with giant swords.
And then she looks at you, K-Bolt. You?
Yeah, what about me?
How do you how do you think about angel when you hear the word angel? How do you imagine them?
It could be very different. There could be some good ones, some bad ones, and some neutral ones.
I'm talking about
just really depends on the angel.
Appearance. The appearance of the angel.
Most of the time, I think of them as being like pretty white with wings and stuff, but that might not be the case for all of them.
And then she looks at you, Bobby.
Well, it's totally fake about Tinkerbell, but Ava really changed that for me.
Right, the one with the weird answer. So none of you are correct in these kind of angels. these angels are not really what you prescribe. They're more... Well, all of them, at least the first kind of angels, are not really physical in terms of their own body. They're more like connected to something else. They're more metallic, if I'm going to say that that. They're suits of armor with wings on them. That's the most easiest things to pronounce them to be, or to describe them at. They're not exactly the angels that you think of, but just because they're suits of armor doesn't make them less dangerous. And just because of that, that doesn't make them construct as well. She looks at all of you. They're far more dangerous than you think. All of them. A single angel can just level up a village by himself. Imagine what we're talking about when we're talking about their commanders.
Oh crap.
Yeah, so these guys are guys that we don't want to deal with. Now, for the time being, it looks like she kind of like getting back to the cauldron into the white madness stuff. It doesn't look like they were able to actually use their full powers to their extent. And from the ways that it looks like, it still wasn't complete, the summoning, or whatever they were trying to do to that poor man's body. I think they were trying to create a manifestation of an angel for them, which is kind of thinking they're creating themselves angels, but it doesn't really work that way. It just kind of just creating to an angel another body. It's really strange process. Angels are weird, she says. Especially those kinds. They're really, really weird. And they're far more dangerous than you think. Now, just because angels, that doesn't mean they're good. And just because I'm a demon, that doesn't mean I'm bad. I'm hoping you understand that.
The concept of good and evil are subjective.
Indeed.
Oh, so if we one more thing when it comes to the angels.
Yeah.
We cannot pinpoint their location, but can we at least know how many they are?
Well, that will take me time, but from the way that it looks, we might be talking about a small amount of them. Probably not more than a squadron, and even that I don't think it's likely. I'm not even sure they're going to be interfering for a while, if even. Might have just stopped them, just generally. I don't know. We should take preparations, just in case, but for the time being, I don't think they're going to take action. They like to take things very, very slow because they think they're superior to everyone and they think they're just going to wither you out. That's how they like to do things. Although
gotta level up.
Although different kind of angels like to do different kind of actions, so they could even show up tomorrow and will not be prepared. You don't know. But most of the time they like to take their time because honestly they think they're invincible, so they don't really care if you even have protection in your city. But I don't think they're going to be coming here very, very soon, and even if so, I don't think it's that dangerous as you think it is, at least at the moment. So for the time being, we just need to be ready for this. Now, I would say this though, this is something that probably the king would like to know, but there are other things that are also involving this that kind of concerns me and I need to look into them, which I cannot really give you an answer right now because I am not really 100% sure what is the creature that is involved with this. Because a creature like this that gives orcs the ability to summon angels to begin with is absolutely outstandingly powerful. After all, we're talking about orcs. They're not really the most intelligent of creatures. especially the wild orcs that we're seeing in the wild. So that could have been a whole entity that just want the angels, or at least make pact with some of the angels, the corrupted ones, to trying to do a little bit of a problem in this world. We don't even know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe they just got a strong artifact or something weird as that. We have no idea. I'm just guessing at this point. But yeah, this definitely affected these bears, and it was strong enough to make wheels of animals crumble, so that is something that should not be taken lightly. Any other questions?
I have a question for Bobby.
Yes, what is it?
What's your view on demons now in this timeline?
Whoa, crazy. He's talking about timelines. That's only usually me thing.
I mean, I did show you a new timeline, so that makes sense.
I guess he understands the concept now. I don't know. They're cool.
Great answer.
First timeline, I should have probably went to horny jail, to be honest.
She kind of like looks at you. I'm actually okay with that version a lot more. And she kind of like... Yes?
You said something about protection against angels. How we can use it.
Well... This is not really an easy thing to do. I need to glance... What do you mean?
We don't know how much time we have before they attack. We need to get ready. Grognak looks at Roy, like looking if he nods in approval or something.
She kind of
when he says that,
looks at you, and you kind of like look at Evers, and then he looks at you again, and he's like, "We got it covered. Don't worry about it. For the extent that we're able to, we already got it covered. At least in this place of the kingdom."
But what about the rest?
That is a problem, that they're a bunch of ignorant fools, he said as he looks at you and kind of rolls his eyes.
Yes, but that's not something that we can just ignore.
Of course we can't, but they don't listen to the guy who ran over the land of the demi-humans because they're afraid of the demi-humans all the time. And think we have alternative motives, even though I'm a human as well. Why do you think people don't like me that much?
Don't you have anything? Don't you have some people that you can talk with?
Do I really need to talk
in the council?
Kind of like looks at you, kind of looks at Evers and is like, she said, "You know who you need to talk to," and just like looks at her. Looks at you, looks at Estella. Do I really need to talk to her? Do I really need to talk to her? And then she's like Evers.
Yes! I have no idea who that is, but yes!
And Evers kind of like smiling and just saying, "Yes, of course you need to talk to your fiancé sometimes, you dummy."
Oh. Oh my.
"I hate political engagement," he said, and kind of like leaves the room. He doesn't exit stage right, but he just leaves the room for the moment. I'll be outside.
Yes, politics, you gotta hate them. Their worst form of humor when it comes to commentary.
Unless it's Teamndl for president.
That's true. That's true, you hear the god of the world says. Anyway, Estella looks at you, like looks at Evers, looks at you guys, and just kind of like give a little bit of a bow, kind of like with her upper torso, and just says, "We'll take care of it." Anyway, any other question? Evers asks you again, which is so funny to say her name. Evers asks you, do you have any question to her?
I have no more questions.
Nope.
Not really. Not at this moment, anyway.
Well, if you need anything that I can do, maybe I'm even going to join you from time to time, but if you need anything, I guess you know where to find me now, at least for the moment. So now, I'm going to do a little bit of research about the things that you gave me. And she kind of like looks at the bottles that you gave her. She kind of like take a little bit more from each into like one of each of her vials at the side, like one of her vials, like one for each, and then she kind of like hand you the bottles back of the holy water and the dust thing. And then she looks at you, Gorgnak, and she said, "You know that this holy water can be used as a weapon, right?"
Yes. Didn't actually have a reason to use it as such, but yes.
Good. I recommend you not to forget that.
I do want to do some experimenting, but maybe at a later note.
That's just fine. For now, I have works to do. You may want to leave an old lady to herself, she said as she kind of like usher you out. See you later. And she also kind of like giving you kind of like a little bit of a goodbye, and she closed the door behind her.
Bye.
Hey, Grognak, did you bring Mendel?
No, Mandel is in his room. At least that's where I last saw him. He was doing some really weird poses with the beetle.
Is that a JoJo reference?
Maybe. You don't know. So,
If you
What about
see
him?
letters coming off Mendel, we know what happened.
What about him?
Oh, nothing. But, you know, this reality is it's one more chance for him to be an omnipotent god.
then,
I think Mendel is an anime protagonist.
anyway, Roy looks at you three and kind of like trying to ask himself what the heck are you talking about, but he asks you all, did you get the answers that you were looking for, at least for the moment? Or we need more information?
There's one thing that I need to ask you.
And that is... Sorry. I'm tired.
Roy, do you think we made the right call in that reality?
Trying to save people?
Yes.
I mean... Saving people is important, and I think that was the best case scenario. Regardless, if you were trying to protect the city, you would have been slaughtered either way. I just think it just ended up being just a bad circumstance, and the fact that, well... How should I say this? Things happens. Sometimes you cannot control them, and they roll into a roller coaster of stuff. You still need to go and test the other things we found at the cave, but I don't think they were important to Mother to know. He says as he rolls his eyes, because there were love things, and she's not really interested in those kind of things. She's only interested in things that are magical of nature, I guess. That makes more sense. I mean, after all, she's kind of a witch of sort. That sounds really, really bad when I'm calling my adoptive mother a witch.
Thank you. And Grognak leaves.
How can you leave if I haven't opened up the portal yet? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. He's just opening up for you the portals. You all get 3. You all get out. I don't know why I said 3. You all get out, and he kind of like stays a few moments before in front of these graves in the language that you don't really understand on them, and he just leaves a few seconds after. Well, that is it for today. Should probably go get your weapons upgrades in the armory, I guess. Weapons, armor, all that jazz. You're all getting 1 upgrade each, but don't think that we're not going to work you to the bone. If you're going to be living in my estate, you need to pull up your own weight. That is completely okay with you, I believe.
Grognak nods in agreement. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really, no, I can't pay for rent. Gotta work for it.
Of course you do.
Grognak, just this time we should get Mendel's armor soon before we go in this timeline.
Also, one thing I would say, I will pay you if you're going to do your jobs, that's not the problem, and I will give you a place to live, and I will give you also food and everything. It just means that you need to do a few works and errands for me from time to time, because, well, I can use hands all the time, and I'm always stuck in these piles of paper, he says, and other annoying stuff. He looked at you. Why do you think I got out to get you guys? Being a council member is not really very exciting.
Yes, a lot of legislation, bills, stuff you need to pass. It seems like a very boring thing to do.
Well, thanks to all of you, I need to contact my future wife, quote unquote, and I just need to do that. So, I probably need my time for myself for that one.
Understood.
Well,
let's go.
The 3 of you are living. Histelius takes you out, escorts you out of the floor itself, and leads you to the armory. So here, you can get upgrades to your weapons and armor of sort. Do you already have in mind what do you want?
Yes, myself from the past timeline already picked a pretty good option for me.
I'm trying to being settled. I know you already have these. Shut up.
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to pretty much introduce you to someone or two, and you can get from them whatever you need. So essentially, she introduced you to George and into Taco, which is also speaking with his wife, Bale. Which I think I already mentioned that, or did I mention that and then it got deleted? Point is, that's the snake lady. If I didn't mention that from before, from those who are watching, she's a snake lady that watched on them when they were doing training in the arena. Which I think didn't really happen yet because technically, whatever. Point is, she's the snake lady. And she's with her husband, which is kind of like chimeric dragon. I forget the name for that.
Komodo
dragon. He's a Komodo dragon,
You're welcome.
essentially kind of like looks at you three as you enter in with his stallion, and then you also notice kind of like what looks like a big pile of long hair, or should I say tall hair. You do see arms and legs, but like a lot of hair, and this one is also waving to you, but a little bit more slowly. Estelia kind of like steps into beside them and says, "Say, this is George." She's pointing into the guy, which is pile of hair. "This is Taco." She pointed to the Komodo dragon, and this is Bale, his wife, which is also here for a moment. And she kind of looks at you all. "Yeah, I'm just passing for my husband his lunch, I guess, before I'm going to do my own things. And I'm probably going to leave right now," she says, as she kind of like slides away. "Nice meeting you all."
It was a pleasure.
And then he looks at George and looks at Taco and just says, "These two guys are essentially the best at the best when it comes to weapons and armor upgrades, so you should probably use their help. And these are the guys I talked about earlier that needs to get a free upgrade from the boss man himself," she says. And she said, and then, "Well, if you need me, you can ask for me around. I would probably be patrolling. For now, I'm going to leave you to your own things, I think. And as for your sword," she kind of like looked at you, Bobby, "don't worry about it. We'll probably return it to you very, very soon."
All right, thank you.
Now, what kind of upgrades do you want?
Grogan takes his warhammer. "I need to hit stuff better. Can you do that for me?"
Handle better, you mean?
"Yeah, that."
And what about you, Dragonborn boy, my fellow lizard man? Says Taco, winking at you.
Okay, I think I'm gonna upgrade my sword.
To damage more? I think that's what we did last time.
Yes.
Not metagaming.
Yes, I like metagaming. I'm allowed to metagame. You guys are not. So basically, Taco looks at you. "Alright, so I will be able to improve these, and tomorrow morning they're probably going to be already ready. So for now, you can enjoy your time."
Yes, George. Hello, welcome. I already know you. You probably don't know me, but that's fine. Can you upgrade my shield? Give it a nice little magic that can blind people? That'd be great.
George looks at you two, and then he looks at him, and he says, "He's definitely a strange one. But sure, I can do that." He's taking your shield, and he looks at it, and the only thing that he does slowly is just talking. He's quite fine, talking is a slow thing for him. And he's what is known as a very interesting kind of demi-humans, because he's half human, quarter, I guess, cow, and quarter rhino. So he's very, very unique on that regard. He looks at the things, and he's just saying, "Sure, I can do that. Is there anything else you all wish here?"
Nope, I'm good. Thank you very much, George.
And he looks at the two of you.
I don't need any upgrades for my armor. But would you be able to make something for my duck?
I should probably see how the duck looks like, but probably later date than sure.
Excellent.
The question is also materials, but that is after we take measurement, I presume.
Yes.
Good. So, enjoy your day. And then Taco also looks at you two, or you three, and then he kind of like, well, I'm going to work on it after I'll be done with my, a little bit of duties on my free time, because I like working on a few things. And he kind of like pull up the shirt that was like beside on his desk on like the workshop, and you see that he's kind of like more than just like a simple person. He's like looks like more to be the captain of the guard. And he's like pull up this shirt, putting on him. It doesn't look like it's fit him. It looks like it's still really really like tight on a few places, and he's like put his kind of I guess what called hat, nods to you, and just leaves. As you probably all of you are leaving back to your room, right? Or are you going to go do something else?
Grognak is going to the training arena.
Okay.
I'm just going to follow continuity of the first timeline and sell my stuff, but I think we can just not show that to save some time.
So, I think that's a good place to stop part 1, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to stop part 1. We're all going to recap back after you all just finish your day and see what have you done for now. But this is going to be the end of chapter 1 of, I guess, the new chapter 7. So yeah, see you in this next part. Bye-bye. Hopefully this one wasn't really much wreck as I thought it'll be, because a lot of jokes would have been thrown in. But I guess this is part of the fun. So see you in the next part.